No, I don't.
I thought no, December 8th.
If we did, how would we do it? Would we go in the back room then, or how would we?
I'm covered. Yeah, I gave the letter to Bob on the 8th of December.
Sure.
Sorry, Chris.
Weekend, John?
Yeah, I think I am. I need meat. All right, thank you, Tom. Thank you. Everybody ready?
Bought 2 dandies.
All right, let's get started, guys. It's 10 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order.
It's 11.
11, sorry. I'm still on another time zone. All right, it's 11 o'clock. I stand corrected. And we want to do roll call? Yes, I'm in mountain time. Careful there.
Got to keep everything.
You want to go ahead and do roll call?
Bob Olson,
Here.
John Nicholson,
Yes.
Mike Copine,
Yes.
Dave Bowers,
Yes.
Jim Sheeline,
Here.
Chris Norberg,
Here.
Jim Wentling.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody have a chance to look over the minutes? Any corrections or changes they'd like to see done?
They look good to me.
If no corrections, we'll let them stand as read. We'll go to visitors. Turn around. Jason Anderson, we'll start out with you. Yeah.
You're muted, miss.
Hold on a minute, Jason, we got you muted.
You're muted, Jason. Unmute.
You're muted. You have to
There you
unmute.
go.
Can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
Jason.
Is this just for an introduction, Bob, or do I get into the subject at hand?
I would go ahead to introduction and then we'll get down and we'll go down the sheet later. Okay.
Okay, I'm Jason Anderson. I'm the Economic Development Director for the City of Rochelle, and I'm a member of the Lee-Ogle Enterprise Zone Board. And joining me today is Andy Shaw.
Andy, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is Andy Shaw, your Lee-Ogle Enterprise Zone Administrator. So yeah, we're here because we have an ordinance for you later on in the meeting.
Sounds good. Thanks, Andy. Marilyn, you got anything you want to share?
No, thank you. Not at this time.
All right, thanks. How about the sheriff, Mr. Simonton?
I'm just still recovering from the bruises at finance meeting, but no, I'm good.
That was a rough one for you.
Easy, easy, easy.
I tell you, this new finance chair is hard. New chair is hard in finance, I'm telling you. All right, thanks, Sheriff. We'll go to Claire Walter.
Hello. My name is Claire Walter, and I am here to speak with regarding the resolution later with Jason and Andy.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
Hi, I'm Mike Eichhoff. I work with Claire at Grant Thornton representing Project Jackpot. I wish I was where Jason is because that looks pretty darn nice.
Evidently, they don't have any razors down there, though. So.
But, you know, it must not be Illinois because he doesn't have a coat on and he's sitting outside.
And it's sunny.
St. Augustine, Florida.
Isn't that
could all be here?
Isn't that the oldest city in America?
It is. It is.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Let's go ahead and move forward. We'll go to reports by committee chair. We'll start with you, Jim. You want to do finance?
Sure, Bob, thanks. We had quite a bit to go over. We talked about the new courts building, the HVAC control system repair that's got to be completed. We're going to go ahead and do that, and new lighting in the state's attorney file room. This, I guess we maybe talk about, I don't know, the old LEC for the Safe Passage program partnered with Whiteside County. The sheriff came and spoke about the need for some tasers, a little bit pricey, and eventually informed us that we're going to have all of our officers equipped with body cameras by 2025. We talked about the new dispatch 911 service contracts that are coming up that we'll have to sit down with the city of Dixon, city of Amboy, and negotiate those contracts going further down the road. We talked briefly about the operators union contract and the IT, budgeted IT salary for the new IT administrator. And the sheriff also did speak about a staffing study that would let him know where he's at as far as employees, and so he can work on reducing overtime. So, and that's all I have, Bob.
All right. Any questions for Jim? You'll let me know if somebody raises their hand or something on there, would you? Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public Safety met yesterday. Business as usual. We went over the claims, approved and passed those on. We did not go over quarterly updates on the collection of unpaid fines. Nothing changed there. A little bit of information has cropped up on one of the buildings that's in question as far as being abandoned. That's being reviewed right now. Under new business, everything that we had listed under new business, the TASER project, use of the old LEC building, the Illinois Sheriff's Association police reform, staffing study, was all handled by the sheriff already, and it's just repetitive if I go through all of that. One thing that was probably of great importance was the introduction of a resolution for request for the county board's consideration of Lee County becoming a Second Amendment sanctuary county. We did have approximately, correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, but we had about 20 or 25 people that were here yesterday that we had to split up into 2 other additional rooms. Very orderly group of ladies and gentlemen. The resolution did pass, however, at public safety's level, which was forwarded on then to the executive committee. If anybody has any questions on any of the things that we covered yesterday, I'll be glad to answer it. If not, that's my report.
Has everybody seen that resolution? Do you have it here?
I have a copy of it here. Becky, did we pass that out to everybody here at executive, the resolution for the Second Amendment sanctuary?
5 extra copies of Charlie, or the one Charlie just sent, or Becky just sent.
That's the newest one. That's the revised one, and it was emailed out last night. So.
Okay.
In the
Well, I grabbed that when I left the house, or thought I had the right one this morning. I do have the correct one now. So we did have a gentleman yesterday ask for some wording, and it's in the second paragraph on the first page. The only thing that we added was the word inalienable, the inalienable right to keep and bear arms. It was a request that we should put that in there. It was done. So we have the corrected version from what we started with yesterday. And that's the way we'll have it forwarded.
And Jim?
We're good. Are you done, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make a point here. I'm 100% in favor of this resolution for the support of the Second Amendment, and I always will be. I'm a gun owner myself. But I just wondered if we could, under new business, when we put that on the agenda, we call it the Second Amendment sanctuary. And I think that's a touchy word, being sanctuary, because we are not a sanctuary. There are sanctuary cities in the country. Yes. So I wonder if we could just put on there resolution regarding support of the Second Amendment. Yeah, I know it does, but as far as on the agenda.
On the agenda, it says sanctuary.
I just wondered if we could put that on there. Yeah.
I would agree with that, and I think somewhere it said sanctuary city, and I think we got that taken off there too. It's a county. So somebody
Purposely did not put that sanctuary in there for that reason.
Okay.
Hot button deal.
Oh, boy, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that's great. You think that's okay if we
go ahead?
I don't know if all the members of the committee are aware of it, but out of the state of Illinois, 68 counties out of 102 have this sanctuary status.
It's called that.
Two of them call, I think Effingham County and Adams County. I'm not sure. I haven't checked all the rest of them because it just came up, but I think they're calling it. Come on, Bobby, pull it out.
Oh, I don't know.
Gun sanctuary.
I'm
county
trying.
resolution. This is the verbiage the ISRA came up with right there. That's what that gentleman was trying to get us to insert into this. However, as Charlie will tell you, and I think Charlie's sitting in the other room, we can't put some of that stuff in there.
Yeah.
Because it's illegal. You can't enforce it anyway, and why put it in there if you can't enforce it?
And that,
Misinformed you.
how about just second amendment resolution? So anybody have a problem?
Sanctuary was termed a different way, and I'm sorry, I can't pull up that term, but it's same thing
Right.
otherwise.
You got a copy of what Charlie just come out with?
No, I don't. I'm always last on Charlie's list.
And I can just go in and we'll just change it on the county board agenda that you are currently looking at, and I will just put exactly the verbiage that's on the top of the resolution.
Thank-
People are gonna moan and groan. You can't do what you can't.
You'd have another 750-page document like
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
Senate
think-
did if we.
I'm like Jim, I'm the one that kind of got started again with Mike, but you can't expect our law enforcement to be hamstrung either. And we don't have really the right to tell them what to do,
Yeah.
or who to arrest. And what to-
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mike, you're done. Jim, you're good?
Yes, I am.
We'll
Yes.
go to Chris with admin.
Yes, ad service met. We had a long meeting. We're looking at sexual harassment training update. The question that I ask all board members is whether or not board members need to take it and whether or not they're going to need to be paid per diem. So get back with your ad service member and let them know where you are at on those two topics. IT update, hiring. I believe interviews are next week. We should be able to extend offers shortly thereafter that. We have several qualified candidates, and we will proceed from there. We got a couple ordinances for sexual harassment, or one ordinance for sexual harassment, just reconfirming it. I'd like to have that done before we send it out to everybody in the county to do sexual harassment training. We began a conversation about county administrator. So once again, get back with your with the ad service committee member to give them your opinion, what the job should entail, and if we've got any discussion about it. We're also looking at the employee handbook. Mr. Horseman is definitely going to read it cover to cover, and we'll hopefully have an update of that. Sikich had updated it in 2020, but we need to get it actually passed. You will see your per diem change. It went from 57.5 cents to 56 cents for mileage. So sorry, Mike, you're going to get a little less money. And then, no, not even that, a penny and a half. So, and then with the last thing that I have is paid leave versus unpaid for COVID. The change in that was that we're a government. We are going to, I believe, take that back to ad services to come with a recommendation to the county board. We kind of kicked around ideas of trying to do it at county board, but Mr. Olson said, let's come out of committee with a recommendation of what we want to do. So if you want to sit down and discuss more, once again, sit down with your committee members for ad services and let them know your opinion.
Meanwhile, I think we just go as is, status quo, and until we.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, my opinion is keep it status quo, even into next month and into the rest of the year. I know you guys had a discussion at finance about it. This is a pandemic. We're at unprecedented times. People don't want to be quarantined for 2, 3, 4 times, but we also shouldn't penalize them by having to use maybe sick leave or stuff like that. We have to be accommodating. I know that there are people who are quarantining at home that are still doing their job, and that's key. So it's not like we're just going home and doing nothing. They're still, especially department heads, and they're still able to do their job from home. So don't penalize some of these people.
Absolutely. Any questions for Chris?
So you do not want that on the county board full agenda this month?
I don't think we're ready yet, unless the executive committee thinks we are. I mean, you're assuming a lot. I'd assume take things through committee.
Yeah, I'll bring it up like I just did as I give my committee report, so that way people can tell all the ad service committee members what their opinion is. How I want to run ad services is get your opinions, get it right in ad services, so we can rock and roll through it in actual county board. So reach out to your committee members if you have a different opinion of what I just gave, or reach out to myself. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, at this time, I don't believe we need that added.
Thanks, Chris. Any more questions? Mr. Sheehan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Transportation Solid Waste Committee met Monday at 8 a.m. and miracles of miracles, 100% attendance. Gotta love Zoom.
Oh,
First
yes.
time and since I've been around. So that was a wonderful thing. We appreciate everybody of their participation. So
Gold star.
Gold
Yes.
star. Thank you, Jim. We had a regular claims, and then Dave Anderson had and this has been kind of a consistent thing. We've had some concerns. You know, we dealt with the change in speed limit on Lowell Park Road. We do have a concerned citizen that raised the issue in regards to another one on Lowell Park Road, Lowell Park and Timber Creek. And so committee had a real good discussion. Mr. Anderson had provided us with information in regards to the accident reports in that intersection. After a good thorough discussion, the committee has decided not to do any action at this time. We've changed the speed limit, so we're kind of waiting, a little bit of wait and see attitude in that regard. Palmyra Township Highway Commissioner is requesting a reduction in speed limit on Wildcat Road. We are going to have, we're going to have the Highway Commissioner come in and talk to the committee. Because we're wanting, it was kind of an ad hoc conversation with the county engineer, and because even though the power rests in our body in regards to any traffic change in speed limit designation, the tradition has been that that's a request made officially from the Township Road Commissioner to us to do that. So we're going to have that done procedurally. Then we did have a review, as we'd reported last month, in regards to the host agreement out at the landfill. And our next meeting is Monday, February 8th, Highway Department, and we adjourned. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Jim? Thanks, Jim. Dave Bowers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did meet on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Dave Bally was kind enough to chair that in person as I attended remotely. Just highlights from the meeting. We did review and approve claims under old business. The permanent sneeze guard for the treasurer's office is still in progress. There's a little bit of work on the ceiling that our maintenance folks have done, and Dixon Glass will follow up once they have all their materials in order. The old LEC demo and site prep for future use, that is still an open issue. We're hopeful to hear something in the near future, either confirming or denying that, but that we're going to continue to carry that until it's decided one way or the other. Regarding the land upgrades for both for the two main county buildings and the VoIP upgrades, we are now having weekly meetings with the two vendors, FISIC and Syndio. We've also had contact with DC Computers as they're involved with the health department. We are making progress, and the health department will be the first priority. They are on their own network and will be able to be cut over ahead of the rest. And I think the weekly meetings are helpful. We will probably, with our current situation, with Zach being, I would say, the only person right now with IT, we probably will contract a little bit of help from Syndio that we may have done in-house before, but it should not be anything major. We're waiting for a contract or a proposal from Syndio for assisting with that land cut over mainly in the old courts building. Regarding carpet, we're kind of on hold with the piece that still needs to be done is the pit, and that remodeling is still in progress. So once that's completed, And we're also getting quotes, competitive quotes for the remaining carpet work. More to come on that. I don't have anything for the Lots Mass Transit District Advisory Committee. More to come on that. They have not yet met. And the Greyhound single audit, I have nothing on that. On excess furniture and equipment liquidation, we're going to sit on that for a little bit. We're with some of the office moves and such. We're finding that we're using some of that equipment and furniture. So once we're done with those things, we'll get back into that. Regarding the ad hoc committee to review the new solar ordinance, we've met twice. We have another meeting scheduled for next Friday. And we're making some progress. The two areas of interest are setbacks and screening. Those seem to be the areas of interest. Under new business, we discussed a request from Habitat for Humanity for the county donating 4 parcels there at the food pantry, I guess is the best way to put it, on West 4th Street. And there was a concern that we may be being premature in giving or in donating those to Habitat for Humanity. So Properties is going to review that and make a recommendation, but we at this point put that on hold. The old courthouse exterior tuck pointing, if you recall, we have been given information from Representative Demmer that the grant, we have a $250,000 grant that we have chosen to use to tackle the tuck pointing and exterior of the old courthouse. In order to get ready for that work here in the early spring, we've engaged an engineering firm to create a bid spec for us and help us with the pre-bid and bidding process. And that is in progress. I believe they did an inspection of the building yesterday with Greg Saunders. New courts building, high-vac control system repair. Jim had indicated that that repair is been more difficult than expected. There's a $5,000 addition that they will essentially make the system and renew the whole system, and that is needed, and I believe has been approved, and we'll implement that. Also with the state's attorney file room lighting, with the high density file system in there just is not enough existing lighting, so we will also do that based on the finance recommendation. Just for information, we did have our one maintenance custodial position resigned recently and got a different job with the state. And so we are posting for replacement hire. Dee noted her recommendation will be coming for zoning fee changes that would apply to the zoning hearings. Right now, regarding technology and also court security, we're probably in the hole for holding those meetings, and she's suggesting some changes to those zoning meeting fees to help us get whole there. So that more to come on that. And as was previously discussed, we did make recommendation for the LEC substance abuse. Talking with Greg Saunders, we don't have an issue with that, of using the old jail. The only thing we caution, and I think Charlie also cautioned, is that we have something in writing with the Whiteside County for the use of those offices, when they want to do that. And if our grant was to come through to demolish that building, we would then have to sever that agreement and allow that demo to continue. So that's all I have, unless there's questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Jim.
Yeah, Dave, Jim Wentling. On the exterior grant, is that pretty much a done deal, or is he still working on that, or where's the actual grant sit?
My understanding, and we'll have to confirm this, and obviously we would do that before we award any contracts, but there were 2 pots of money that Senator or Representative Demmer had for Lee County. One was for the EOC for 75,000, I believe.
Yeah, I'm aware of that one.
Yep, and that came into, that was actually granted last fall. Because we're in a situation where we can't actually do the work, they had asked us to be ready for that early spring, and that's what we're doing. So my understanding is it's a done deal, but we will follow up further. So our current plan was the grant, and we're budgeted in capital for the other half of this work if it comes somewhere close to the initial budgetary estimate that we have.
Okay, Dave, thank you.
Thank you.
On that $75,000 grant, I just filled out, signed the grant this week. I was under the impression we got it, but we had to refile it or something. So we need to look into this 250 and make sure we do the paperwork ahead of time. Something we missed or something was brought up. We all did, but I think we're the only one that received that grant in the state of Illinois, and we're very lucky.
Dr. Demmer, we were wondering when it would show up.
Absolutely.
It was sent.
So they come up with some paperwork to make it all work. So we got it signed and sent off. So hopefully the next month
They
we'll.
had to justify their job.
Yes. Any other questions for Dave? Dave, it was brought up to me this morning by Mike Copine about the flag out here. I'm sure you're aware of it, but that would run under properties. You want to talk about it, Mike? What you?
I checked into it a little bit further than just that, just to make sure that it was known. And Becky had related that Greg is aware of it. The reason that nothing has been done with this one or the one over at the other courts facility is because the mechanism was froze. As soon as that thaws out to where they can get the flags down off of them, they will be replaced. So that's taken care of.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Let's move on down to monthly claims. We passed them around. Any questions? I'd entertain a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Second.
Mike made the motion. John second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I have no petitions coming to the Zoning Board of Appeals or from the Zoning Board of Appeals. I have no petitions going to the Planning Commission or from the Planning Commission. So I guess now we go to announcements, acknowledgements, guests to speak at the county board. Anything anybody's aware of? John, will there be Second Amendment guys there, do you think, or not?
No, there may be.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Nobody's reached
said
out.
anything.
Nobody's reached out to me anyhow at this point. So, okay.
I'm almost sure there is.
All right. We'll have both rooms opened up and downstairs in case we have an overflow. Go on to 11, old business litigation invoices. I don't, Charlie, do you got anything you want to talk about there? I have nothing. No news to bring forward on that. And Marilyn said the attorney reached out to me and we checked our email in between meetings and I never received anything yet. So maybe I'll reach out to him tomorrow or coming week and see if we can get that figured out. Let's go to new business. Jim, the operators union contract.
Yeah.
We'll have it and
it should be here today or tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll have it signed by the union at this point, and we can go ahead and approve it and sign it and then send it back to the union.
So we'll go ahead.
Sorry,
Yes.
Becky's messaging me. I do need to approve claims in our, at the county board meeting, so I just want to make sure that's on executive.
Got a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to pay claims.
Got a first?
Second.
I've got a second. Mike Copine, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Yep, I forgot to remind you on that too. Okay, so we got the contract. We will have a signed copy. You do that at the board meeting Thursday night usually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to give, and you're supposed to do it down at the meeting.
We did. Can you do it?
No.
Don't have to.
No, just.
One or the other. One or the other.
Committee, you don't have to do it here in executive. It automatically goes to the.
Well, we'll go to the board, but you should do it in your committee.
Okay.
Wait a minute, Kathy's got something she wants to talk about here.
Okay, the difference between the highway claims, they're approved at county board because they are a separate levy.
Oh,
So we always approve county or highway claims at the full county board because they do not have their own, they have their own levy, but they don't have a separate board. The health department has their own levy, but they have a separate board that goes through and approves their claims. So then with back to what Chris is saying, then during your normal committee week, you approve claims at your committee for the ones that you reviewed. And he just forgot to get that motion. So we're just going to add it onto his committee report that they'll make the motion and then it's good to go.
right.
Does that explain that?
Yep.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that explanation, Kathy, because after a year or 2 years of being here, I still wondered why. Now I know. Thank
Now
you
we
very
do.
much.
I never knew. I always thought Jerry forgot to do it down there. I didn't know. Now we know. We're gonna miss you, Kathy.
There is, I assure you.
Kathy, we're still gonna need you to zoom into our meetings every month, all right? We'll come over and set you up. All right, so the union contract's gonna be on the agenda for county board. Lee County Clerk, Recorder Annual Report. That'd be on the county board?
Yes, and we just need a motion to accept that. It is just a yearly view of the monthly reports that I turn in, and statutorily, I'm required to do that.
Okay. County Administrator discussion, C, new business. Any thoughts? Do we want an ad hoc committee to do that, or do you want to come out of Chris's committee, or what's the best way forward? I've got some ideas on that I'd like to share, but I can come to his committee meeting, or do we want to set up an ad hoc to discuss it?
I personally would like to just come straight out of our committee. I don't think we need another separate ad hoc committee. I think the people on that committee are going to be capable of that, especially if we can all reach out to them with any concerns that you might have.
Everybody good with that?
So I know the Admin Services Committee has had some initial discussions in regards to also, because to me, there's two issues here with the administrator and also any potential reduction of the county board membership. They're kind of hand in hand.
Yes.
Is that also going to be, because we're on a timeline on that. Administrator, we're not so much on a timeline, we're on a timeline on the other.
Reduction of the county board. And they do go hand in hand. Plus, I think HR goes on this administrator. And I'd like to have some input on that with the committee.
You know what our timeline is on reducing or changing county board members?
You're going to need to be doing that probably in April or May of 2021. All of the county board members will be up for re-election in the March primary in 2022. So you will have a full newly elected county board in November of 2022. So in order for us to know the number of candidates that will be available, we have to know the reduction in the county board if there is going to be one. And I believe the resolution was passed in April or May, and this can only be done every 10 years.
Right.
So if a reduction is going to be made, you need to make that decision now so that we know how many candidates can run for these positions when they have to take out petitions.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely on a timeline then for that.
We're at the right timeline. So you're up for it.
As far as the county administrator, any discussion we want to have here as the executive committee on thoughts, ideas?
I don't have a problem with going through ad services. Again, input, I think there should be some input.
I don't have any objections.
No objection.
Dave?
I don't have any objections with that either. I guess the one thing I had seen in the past, and I would hate to see it. HR is a specialized area and requires some attention. I know there's multiple ways of tackling that animal. I would hate to see the administrator bogged down with 50% of her job being, or his or her job being HR. I think there may still be a case to be made for some outside assistance with HR because it's kind of a moving target. And I don't think you want to burden the administrator with doing all HR activity for the county.
More. Talk in your mic so they can talk in your mic so they can hear you on
I'm
mine.
sorry. I would voice what Dave said too. We have a good contract with Sikich right now. And I mean, so to speak, they're the experts 50 miles away. And like Dave said, it is a moving target on a monthly, if not, semi-annually basis. You got to know where you're at or you can get yourself in a whole lot of trouble. I've been here for a month or two of this job, and it seems like HR and IT is our challenges at the county.
Thanks.
So I think administrator would help at some point. So we'll go through committee and we'll go there. All righty? Get your work cut out for you, Chris. All right. We got the ordinance you already talked about the sexual harassment policy. You're going to have that on our agenda. We're going to strike this donation for 4 county-owned parcels for Habitat for Humanity.
Correct. For
Okay.
now.
All right. They discussed the new courts building HVAC control system repair and finance today. Do we really need that on the agenda, or it's?
I don't see a need for the full county if we're in agreement.
You're paying it out of capital, correct? And it was in 2 years' budget. It flows over, so I really don't see it unless anybody has an objection. Kathy, were we all right with that? All right. Yep, and same with the state's attorney file room lighting?
Yep.
Okay. The zoning fee changes, that'll be next month. So we can strike that.
Yes.
We already discussed the resolution for the Second Amendment. The COVID-19 pay.
Oh, your mic went out, Bob.
Grab that one.
One next to you.
Yep.
Maybe that's a sign. You want to wrap it up?
Talking too much.
All right. I'll go back to you're going to come with a recommendation?
They need the flash or something.
Turn back on.
Yeah.
11, 2.
Electrical grid's going down. Oh, that's battery.
I'm back on.
Okay. We're all good. Thanks, Becky. The COVID-19 paid leave quarantine, you're going to come out of committee next month, so we don't need that on the agenda.
Correct.
Use of LEC for substance abuse. I don't know if we need it on the agenda. We could talk about it in committee reports, or what's your thoughts? Kathy, what do you think on something like that? What would you normally do?
I think if you guys agreed on it in committee, to take it before the full county board, you're really not looking for anything. And I think the sheriff and the state's attorney are working on getting some lease agreements. Am I correct?
Yes.
So I don't think it's anything that you would need full board approval on.
I think we'll wait till we get the lease agreement and maybe we decide at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob. Dave, did you guys talk about this at properties, the use of the old LEC?
Yep.
We did.
So you guys, yeah, it's been all through. Yeah,
And we recommend it.
yeah, as long as came through there,
Okay.
and they're going to put the agreement, I think we'd be okay.
Yeah, the only concern was if we get permission or if we get a grant to tear it down, that we're not bound to.
Yeah, and then they're aware of it if it's gonna, we're gonna have to run them out if we get it. But,
Yep.
Hey, Bob,
Yes,
on that topic, if they want to get started earlier than our county board meeting in February, can I get any kind of approval from the county board just based on the agreement that Charlie and I can write up for them so they can get started? Because it's something that we want to get going sooner than a month from now.
yeah, I see nothing wrong with that. We can put it on there and then we'll do that.
So you want it on the agenda then?
I think, yeah, and then we'll, no question. Okay,
Hold on. Rick, do you have something or can you mute your mic? Thank you.
okay. We decide we're gonna put it on there. So let's go down to appointments, the resolutions. We have appointment of Nancy Peterson as Lee County Clerk and Recorder. We'll definitely have that on there. The resolution appointment of Kevin Marks to the Quad City Regional Development Authority. We have the ordinance amending the ordinance incentives of Lee County Ogle Enterprise Zone. Kevin or Jason, do you want to talk to us about that?
Yes, thank you for taking the time today to invite us to your meeting. As the Economic Development Director for the City of Rochelle, I've been working in the last 3 years to redevelop the Nippon Sharyo campus, manufacturing campus. And we've been presented with an opportunity to attract a project that is known as Project Jackpot. And I've got today with us, we've got Mike Eichhoff and Claire Walter from a company called Grant Thornton, who is a consulting firm for this project, who's going to tell you about the nature of the project, the size of the project, and so on, and the significant impact that this project will have on our region. After that presentation, Andy Shaw will explain to you the resolution to change the tax abatement ordinance that we're proposing to make in conjunction with attracting Project Jackpot. What Andy will explain in just more detail is that we are, as an enterprise zone, we're a little bit behind the curve in the sense that we have not updated our tax abatement policies to attract these very, very large impact type of economic development projects. So we presented the idea of this tax abatement change to the Enterprise Zone Board, and Andy drafted it and put it together as an amendment to the current tax abatement ordinance. And the Enterprise Zone, the Lee-Ogle Enterprise Zone, that is made up of 9 government entities, along with the Greater Rochelle Economic Development Corporation and LCIDA, approved it. Now we are, in the last week, we've been taking this proposal to taxing bodies across the region. And we want to propose that the Ogle County Board adopt the changes. And I'm going to let Andy go ahead at this point in time. I'm sorry, let's go to Mike and Claire and let's talk about what Project Jackpot is, and then we'll turn it over to Andy.
Thank you very much, Jason, and thank you everyone for your time today. I am going to just share my screen so that you guys can see a presentation that we've put together to just introduce the project to you. As Jason mentioned, my name is Claire Walter. I work at Grant Thornton, and we are representing Project Jackpot. As he also mentioned, this is taking over the old Nippon Sharyo facility. So it's located at 1600 Ritchie Court in Rochelle. And the potential applicant is considering a new manufacturing facility for the company within this location. If the project does decide to go through, we're looking at over $130 million in capital investment, new jobs in excess of 150, and the average wage being for hourly employees about $52,000 plus benefits, and the salary compensation will vary. Now, of course, these are big promises, and we understand that being under Project Jackpot and because of anonymity, we can't actually release the name of the purchaser yet, but we did want to tell you guys a little bit about the actual parent. I think that this will help show you that this is a very serious and experienced company that wants to bring their project here. So this company is headquartered in Illinois. They are a multi-billion-dollar business. They have 17 production facilities already within the United States and Canada, and they are striving to support domestic manufacturing, making sure to keep American jobs and promote that throughout the company in all of their facilities. And the sort of jobs that they're creating are manufacturing. We've got a lot of definitely robotics and those types of things. So they're really looking to come to the community and actually partner with the community to establish a new home in Rochelle. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer about Project Jackpot or the company?
I think, go ahead.
No, there's no questions.
I just want to add something. Are you done, Claire? Or are you going to share anything else?
I'm done. I have the rest of our presentation with the slides, but I'm done.
Okay. All right. Well, what I want to say is that in the 16 years that I have been the Economic Development Director in Rochelle, this is exactly the type of project that we've always really desired. One that would have be a very large American company that has a significant footprint already in the U.S., who is looking to invest a large amount of money into a new project, create jobs that are starting at $25 to $27 an hour, which we would consider very much living wage jobs today, and that would also bring potentially with it a lot of other additional industries that may follow. This is a very big company that we think once landed here, if we landed here, will successfully help us to bring more to the region. Claire and Mike, if you don't have anything else to add to the project, then I'd like Andy Shaw to explain this new tax abatement incentive that we would like to present to the Ogle County Board for passage next week. Andy?
Sure. Thanks, Jason. And yeah, we're really excited to have this opportunity. This is just a massive opportunity and project for the whole region to have this site with some great jobs again. So we're really glad to help out in any way we can. Through this process, we found that our abatement is not that aggressive. It's maybe a little too conservative in a way, especially as it relates to these massive job creation projects and massive capital investment projects. So with that in mind, and then I'll just say, if you're not familiar totally with what we do, at the present time, we have a 6-year 50% tax abatement on what is called the real estate improvements that are made from a project. And what would happen here in this ordinance, we've replaced the section on abatement with a new section, and that creates 3 tiers of abatement. The first one is called base abatement, and that's what we already do. That 6-year 50% would stay the same for the overwhelming majority of projects. They would stay in that base tier. There's 2 additional tiers that we've added, and the middle one is termed extended abatement in there in your amending ordinance. What that does is adds 4 years of 50% abatement to that base level for a total of 10 years at 50%. A company would need to do a $50 million capital investment in their project and create 75 new jobs, and they would need to maintain 95% of those jobs for the entirety of that abatement period. So that is the extended abatement level, that it's kind of a middle tier. Above that is the high impact abatement, and that is an additional 10 years of 50% abatement. Those are for projects, and you've heard what they're doing, 130 million, 150 plus jobs. We set this tier to be a little below that to be more inclusive of maybe other opportunities that might come. And so we set that at $100 million capital investment and 125 new jobs. And in this case, we also added that salary that was mentioned, again, rounding down a bit to $50,000. salary rate exclusive of benefits. So for this type of abatement, they would need to do a little bit more, even create new jobs and also name them to be particularly high paying jobs in the region. And again, these need to maintain 95% of the jobs that are created by the project. You'll see in there and what's happening, it's a little bit different than typical with this. The company here has acquired a facility or is in the process of doing that. And that facility has, in one aspect, there's 2 buildings and 2 parcels of the former Neponchario West and East campus. The West building is still under abatement, and there's 2 years remaining of that. So this ordinance allows a company to acquire and have that continued in exchange for this massive new investment and massive job creation. So it's a little bit different than other uses of the enterprise zone in the past, because we do want to acknowledge this tremendous investment that will be happening, or we hope to happen. So that's probably the main thing that's unique about this. But those additional tiers are created so that we can really be competitive for future projects as well. The other zones around us are definitely more aggressive in most cases. Even on a base level, we're not. I'll say we're really not where we should be in light of what we've seen by looking at our other zones that surround us. And so we'd like to be a little bit more competitive on all of those beyond Project Jackpot. And so this ordinance, it's not just addressing that project, but it's creating a structure that should help us be more attractive in the future for other projects as well. So I'll leave it at that for now and open myself up and well, Jason can take it back and we can address anything you need.
Andy, I've got a quick question for you. This is Chris Norberg. My question is, I think it all sounds all good and great. Who's going to police it that they're maintaining 95% and
Sure,
$50,000 jobs?
Important question. And with these 2 tiers, we have added language that requires an annual third-party certification of that status. So they need to certify every year that the jobs are still there. And in the case of that highest tier, there would have to be pay involved in that too, to make sure that is actually happening. So yeah, we do have a firm structure built into each of those tiers. You'll see that requirement of an annual third-party process.
Andy, this is Dave Bowers. Just another question, and I didn't quite understand, but the abatement that's in place right now, it sounds like it has 2 years to run yet. If this project were to come to fruition, this 10-year abatement would be on top of that, or I guess I didn't completely understand what happened.
Yeah, in their case only, it would add 10 years to the 2. So it would be a total of 12 happening for Project Jackpot's sake. If there's a new project of this caliber, there's a potential that it would be 16. But in this case, since they're coming in at the tail end of a base abatement that's already in play and already in process and about to end in a couple of years, it only adds 10 in their case.
Okay.
Jim's got a question.
Yeah, Jim Sheeline, guys. First of all, I want to really compliment everyone that's been involved in this process, Jason, Andy. This is really exciting, and I know, with knowing Jason for as long as I have, I am very much aware of everything, or not everything, but the work that goes on behind the scenes in order to make this happen. So first of all, I want to compliment all of you for getting this opportunity that is really needed in our area. So one thing that and I want to address exactly and I'm in favor, Andy, we really do have to be competitive. economic development, it's a competitive realm, and we got to be able to be as competitive as possible with other siting agencies. The one thing that I do have a concern with, when you start talking about going out 20 years, you know what comes into mind. And you guys probably very much know where I'm going with this. And I think about Mitsubishi down in Bloomington. We went through, in a smaller extent, with Sharu. I'll also mention about national manufacturing. The further you go out, these big projects, they can be a double-edged sword. Yes, they do bring, opportunity for us, jobs, economic development, all that kind of thing. But when business conditions go the other way, the local folks have to pick up the slack, so to speak. So I'm just asking, what in the realm of the enterprise zone have you considered and what happens is when you have an overly large project and they have a 20-year abatement? How does that work in case they come and then they go?
I'd like to suggest, Mike Eichhoff, if you could maybe talk a little bit about Jackpot. Again, we can't identify the company, but to address some of Jim Sheeline's concerns about kind of the longevity of the project, can you talk a little bit to that in regards to the company?
Sure. Then I can kind of kick to Andy as to how the policy works. But, this is it's a closely held family company, as we mentioned, headquartered here in Illinois. This is the second startup of a new industrial metals plant that they've done over the past 7 years. The current site that they're located in right now, they've been there for actually over 75 years. So when we've been working with them over the past several years, comments that we hear out of, and it's a third generation family owned company. So when they enter into a community, they stay. They have not made any sort of location decision to this point where they've been anywhere less than 25 years throughout their 17 plants that they have across the country, beyond obviously the new plant. So this is a company that is very committed to the communities. They've been in there for a long time. They have a history of that, and they do not make many of these large investment decisions. Now, I think that Andy and Jason in the proposed ordinance have also put in some protections for the local community, correct, if they fail to meet any of the obligations.
And I'll let Andy address that, but let me just build on what Mike just said. There's a development agreement that will be made between the city of Rochelle Municipal Utility, and this company, because this company, if it should land here, will be the largest electric user in the RMU system. Rochelle Municipal Utilities has been drawing up the plans for a number of years for a new electrical substation located there just north of the county line. And that is about a 7 or 8 million, almost 9 million, I think now it's gotten up to $9 million investment. And there are going to be a number of development agreement terms that are going to, of course, assure the city and RMU that investment is not going for naught. Now, a major benefit to Lee County is in conjunction with all the jobs to be created that, of course, come from Lee County, Ogle County, Carroll County, other places, is that this project, if landed in Rochelle, will guarantee that this new 100 megawatt substation gets built. Now, what's significant about that is that 100 megawatt substation will now have the capacity to take electricity all the way to the village of Stewart, and to be able to bring that development that we've been talking about now for a while into Lee County, because we'll have enough power to be able to add future manufacturing opportunities. We have the land, and as you all know, we have now the water, and we have now a sewer line that goes into Lee County. So with this project, if landed, if this ordinance is passed and this company comes, we will have the power capabilities now to really see this expansion deep into Lee County. Andy, you want to talk about some of the other provisions in the ordinance?
So, yeah, like I mentioned, there's a 95% requirement of job maintaining, and the risk of that is that the abatement would end if that isn't happening. And so, we do have that power and control, beyond the period of the abatement and beyond, this time frame. Market conditions change, of course, and things could change, but I really have a feel that this project is really unique and isn't going to go away. I think these jobs are going to be in the region for a really long time.
Here,
I think with the abatement, we do 50% abatement, and so we always are getting some of that new EAV every year. Where some of the other zones do 100% for many of those front years, and so I think that's more risky for those governments that do 100% for early years of abatement schedules, and with ours it is 50%. So I think that's a very good thing about the schedule that we run. That some of that new EAV, in fact, half of the new EAV is always coming to the districts, and so that's a nice bit of advantage that we have.
another point that we didn't mention earlier is that, as you know, there are two buildings in the Nippon Sharyo campus, and the only building we're talking about extending the abatement to is the west building. The east building, which was of course built about 7 years ago, well, now it's almost been 9 years ago, that east building, the abatement has completely run out, and that building is fully assessed, and 100% of the taxes are being collected on that east building. And of course, the fact that Jackpot's taking over the east and the west building means that those buildings will not be empty. They won't be deteriorating. That means that the assessed values will hold on those buildings, and we're only abating the west building.
I have a question for Andy. It's Bob Olson. Did you reach out to the school districts in Rochelle and Stewart? And it's really going to affect them more than it will the county at this point.
Yeah, a big part of this process is reaching out to the taxing districts, especially the school districts. And yeah, Jason and his staff have been doing a lot of that, and I've been attending the meetings along with them. And the process is just getting started actually this week. But yeah, it's critical that all the taxing districts participate in this, especially on the Rochelle side of the zone. We do intend to come to the Dixon area and all the others as well as we roll this out, and hope to have it widely available throughout the zone. But Rochelle is the priority right now. But yeah, absolutely, those meetings are ongoing to meet all of the tax districts that are part of each tax bill.
And Bob, we are starting primarily with the Rochelle taxing districts, because Jackpot really needs an answer on whether or not we're going to get this passed. And so we're starting in Rochelle. But as Andy, I will be coming with Andy when it's necessary to the Ogle County Board, to the Dixon School District, wherever we need to go to get this done. We're going to get it done, because it's critical, in my opinion, that 100% of the taxing districts are going to participate. And Andy and I haven't come up with the complete list yet, but I think between Lee and Ogle County, the 9 municipalities in the enterprise zone, the school districts that are involved, I think we're talking something in the area of around 35 to 40 taxing districts are going to be approached. The first ones are going to be certainly in Rochelle. Stewart School District is of course in Lee County, but it's a part of the Rochelle school system. So are part of the enterprise zone. So yeah, it's a huge effort we got to put forward here. And with every taxing district like Ogle County or in Lee County Board, if you approve, we can always go to the next taxing district and say, we've got these, the counties are on board. The city of Rochelle and the city of Dixon, we hope will be. City of Rochelle has already passed. City of Dixon will be approached next Monday. So yeah, we need everybody's participation in support of this. And then what we need to look at is kind of like we've been talking about, is how we build on this project Jackpot to bring the next project and hopefully move then into Lee County.
Sure. Any more questions? I agree totally with the project. And do you have to have every taxing district resolution, or how does it work to make it move forward?
We need, so this is an amending ordinance for the designating units of government. We need all of those to be passed. That's an absolute must. For the sake of this project, they need all of the taxing districts that are on the tax bill for that site. And that's eight or nine or so. There's 18 in Rochelle. We'd like to have all of those, so we have a unified package for other sites in Rochelle. But then beyond there, there's even more. So the enterprise zone abatement is dependent on all the taxing districts being a partner in the process. They all get to choose whether to participate or not in the abatement in the enterprise zone. They all pass their own resolutions in their own names.
Andy, do you want to tell them who are members of the enterprise zone board where we got to get 100%?
Yeah, and those are cities and counties, Lee and Ogle counties, and then the cities of Dixon and Rochelle, the city of Oregon, city of Amboy, and villages of Mount Morris and Ashton and Franklin Grove, which is pending with the state. They'll also pass the amending ordinance.
So 100% of those must approve for this to go forward, where then all the taxing districts to follow, we'll hopefully get them all to join us.
Sounds good. Any more questions?
I do have one question in regards to the project, not so much to the change in ordinance. And this is to you, Jason. As you know, I'm chairman of the Road and Bridge Committee here for the county. And I just, could you talk about, is there going to be any local road impact in regards to Project Jackpot that my committee needs to be concerned with?
No, not for this particular project, Jim. The traffic that will be generated out of Jackpot will go more than likely, always going to go to the west to catch 251. We have spoken preliminarily with Dave Anderson, and I think we should probably meet sometime this spring and talk about what improvements to Stewart Road there are going to need to be as we proceed to move south. That bridge right there at the county line, which is in the Lee County side, Dave has told us for years is going to have to be replaced. Stewart Road will need to be widened at some point in time. So this particular project, I don't see us impacting it much, but I do know that we want to be ready when that next project comes south of the county line.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks. Thanks, guys, and everybody. Thank you.
Bob, do we have to do anything to get it on your agenda for next week?
Nope, it's on the agenda as far as I'm concerned, so we're good.
Okay, and we're happy to attend and bring the presentation if you feel it's necessary.
All right, I'll be in touch. I'll give you a call before next Thursday, but I'll talk it over here and see what we have to do, and maybe we could explain.
Sure. Okay. Let us
okay.
know.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Move down to appointments.
Great job, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll move down. We got 3 resolutions from the Pawpaw Sanitary District. Are they going to be ready for us, Becky?
I don't know. I haven't heard back from her. I emailed her yesterday, and Kathy and I talked that she needs to find out from the attorney what to do as far as the sanitary district. So, and I didn't hear back from her. So if she gets them to me, I'll include them. But at this point,
Do we want to put them on the agenda as far as now, or what's your?
I mean, we certainly can, and if they come in, then we can go ahead and take them. My concern is I didn't know how their terms go for sanitary districts. I don't know whether they can all have the same term or if they need different terms and
Staggered or something.
yeah.
Huh?
So
Okay.
I put it back to their attorney.
All right. Well, let's put them on, and then we can always.
Yeah, if we don't have them, we can just.
Yep. All right. We passed around a raffle report. Everybody get a chance to see it. I need a motion to approve it. John first. Jim seconds it. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. John Nicholson first and Jim Whitley second. Do we need to approve the agenda? A motion to approve the agenda? I'd entertain that at this point.
So moved.
Second.
Jim Sheeline, Chris Norberg. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I skipped around. We have no executive session, so I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So be.
Chris
Second, Copine.
Copine seconds it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.